In the last video, we were able to put in a scoring system into place. This time, we're going to make things a little bit harder for our players, and we're going to add in some enemies and basically a bit like lives as well. So they have 3 lives, and each time that they encounter an enemy, they will lose 1. So it makes them think about how they're going to get around the maze. So the first thing that we want to do is to add in our enemy characters. This is exactly the same as how we've started pretty much every other video so far. We go to Insert, we go to New Objects, we go to the From file and we find our enemy, and then if it's animated, we put it in as an animation. If it isn't, then we put it in as an active object, and then we place it into our maze. The next bit is where it gets a little bit tricky, so you might need to watch this part of the video over a few times to really make sense of what is going on. So this is where we're going to be adding in the movement of the enemy. Obviously this isn't like player controlled at all, so we have to kind of give a specified route that we want these animations, these sprites to take. So the way we're going to do that is in the properties window on the left hand side, we're going to go to the movement screen. So that's the one with the little running man, and we're going to click on where it says static, and we're going to change that to path. And then we're going to click on edit so we can change however we want. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because obviously we want it to look like it is within our maze and it's not kind of going outside of the walls, because otherwise it doesn't really make any sense. So we're going to click on the first little arrow button in the path movement setup that it has set up, and you will see, once you have done that, a little box will appear in the top left hand corner of your sprite, your enemy character. Now this is the tricky part, because you have to kind of keep that in mind when you are setting the movement up for your character. You can see here that I have put it in the inner corner of that. That does not mean that it's going to be in that corner. That means it's stopping just before the coin. Basically, it's not overlapping the coin at all, it's stopping just before it. So it's kind of relevant to whereabouts it is that black dot is on the original sprite. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure as you kind of figure it out, you'll be able to see what works for your own maze. Now it's really important as well that you change the speed of it, because otherwise it goes ridiculously fast and it'll be almost impossible for your player to actually bypass them at all. So you have to go back to the very first one that you have, that was there, that before you created any extra ones, and then you need to change the speed down from 50. I've changed mine to 8, but have a play about, see what works for you, and then every new black dot on the path that you create needs to be adjusted as well after you've created the next one. So it might be worth doing it at the very end after you've created your path. To save us some time, we can make it so that the movement goes back on itself, so once it's gone one way it will go back the way it came, and also that it can loop it, so it will automatically keep going through that motion rather than us having to set it up manually. You can then try the movement out, so you can see whether or not it's in a straight line or if it's kind of how you want it by clicking the try movement. You can see on my recording it doesn't really work, but it should be a lot smoother when you're trying it out for yourself. You can click and drag them across, so if it's not quite in the right place, you can. So you can see here, this is what I'm talking about, having the black dot in that top corner there means that my enemy character will then go right up to the corner, so it can go up, so it's realistic. And also always remember to go back and change the speed of it. Remember to go back, experiment, make sure that it works for you. It's a bit of a trial and error, I'm afraid. and then I'm going to press OK. Now I'm going to add some lives in by going to insert and then searching for lives. Place that wherever you want. I'm putting it down here because I've got a bit of space. And then we're going to actually make sure that the lives actually mean something. So we're going to go to the event editor to add in a new condition. Once again, it's going to be a player character collision because it's whenever the player character touches the enemy character. We're going to add in an event to this condition, which is underneath the player kind of selection window, which is the joystick. So right click on that and then go number of lives, and then we want it to subtract from the number of lives, and I'm going to be nice, I'm going to only have it subtract 1, and then press OK. And then obviously when we've run out of lives, we don't want the player to be able to just carry on with the game. So we're going to add in a new condition, and we're going to click on the player option to start off with, so the joystick. And we're going to click on when number of lives reaches 0. And just for now, because of the version of the program that we are working with, we're going to just have it to end the application. And then I'm going to run the frame to make sure that it works. And as you can see, once I've hit the enemy 3 times and I have no more lives left, then the application, the game just finishes and closes. Okay, so that is pretty much the basics all covered. You have pretty much a functioning game. So next few videos are basically you kind of adding your own little quirks to it that you had planned. So next video we're going to be looking at adding some different types of power-ups, and then also we can look at progression to other levels, so making sure that they have a key or something like that in order to do that. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.